Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to day 3 of my blogging series here on YouTube. If you guys haven't seen the other 2 videos in the series, I'm gonna link them down below so you can check them out and so you can catch up if this is your first time stumbling across my videos. But this has been really fun. Like, I've been really excited to talk about blogging. You guys know I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have my baby girl who is 1, and I love doing these day in the life vlogs and sharing all of my mommy content, which I am gonna be continuing to produce. My channel is not becoming a blogging channel, but I do think that it's fun to show this side of my life because like this is what I do every day. Like, this is how I make money for my family. So in addition to juggling all of the stuff that I have to juggle with Riley and taking care of my house, I am working. I'm working from home, working on my blog, bringing in income. And so I really wanted to share how I do that. So today's video is just gonna be a very casual Q&A. I asked you guys on Instagram for some questions about blogging, and I'm gonna answer as many of them as I can. I don't want this video to be like 5,000 years long, so I'm trying to see what time I'm starting. But I'm just gonna go down the list, answer some of them. If you guys continue to have questions, leave them down below in the comments. If I have enough questions to warrant like a part 2 to this Q&A, then I'll do a separate video, or maybe I'll do like an Instagram live or something like that. But any of your questions, I want to be able to answer them for you, so do not be afraid. Nothing is off limits. And with that being said, let's just go ahead and get started. So the first question that I have is kind of something that I see multiple, like it's kind of like asked in different ways. So somebody asked, how do you start and make money? I'm a stay-at-home mom and I need extra income. And then somebody else said, I would love to become a blogger, but I have no idea where to start. So that seems to be like a very common question. I want to do this thing, I'm interested in blogging, but like where the heck do I start? So yesterday's video is a tech tutorial, and I made that video primarily to help answer this question. In that video, I have like a screen recording where I'm showing you the actual process of setting up a blog. So that way you guys can see like what that entails, like going in, logging in, creating an account, and then signing up with your domain, signing up with your host. All of that stuff is in that video. So I will leave a link to it down below in case you want to check that out. I also have a couple other resources that might help you if you're in that situation. So the first thing that I have is I have an actual blog post that's called How to Start a Blog. So I will leave that link down below. But if you don't want to see like the whole video, if you just want to see some basic screenshots of how to start, I think that's a good blog post to read and to reference. And I think that that should at least give you some clarity as to like how to get started. I also have a free course. It doesn't cost you a penny. All you have to do is give me your email address, and then every day for 5 days, I send you a specific set of tasks. That's what I call my Start a Blog Challenge. I designed that free course to just help people who wanted to get started. It's more of a guided kind of thing. Like if I just send you to a video or I just send you to a blog post, you're just gonna read it and then kind of do it in whatever kind of order you want. With the Start a Blog course, Start a Blog email course, challenge, whatever you want to call it, every day you're gonna open your inbox and you're gonna get a set of tasks that you should complete that day, and it walks you through the whole setup process. It walks you through how you should be, you know, brainstorming your blog posts. It also walks you through things like setting up your social media accounts and just all the things that I thought were important to mention if you are thinking about starting a blog and you don't know exactly how to set it up, how to get it running. So I think that those are 2 good resources that should help you like get started if that's something that you're looking to do. So the next question says, what are your tips for getting out of a creative rut? I love this question because I have been doing this for 7 years. In this month, in January, it's actually like my 7-year anniversary because I started back in January of 2012. So it's kind of like, I don't even know what my life would be like without blogging. Like, it's insane. I feel so freaking old. But just because I've been doing this for so long doesn't mean necessarily that I never find myself in situations where I'm like, man, like, I don't feel like writing, or I don't feel like making videos because now I'm doing this on YouTube. So now I feel this immense pressure to create videos and create blog posts and to be creating all of this content. And it can be easy to kind of get to a point where you're like, man, like what the hell do I write about? Or what kind of videos do I produce? And I know that a lot of my YouTube mom friends, like you guys feel the same way. I know that you guys talk about it sometimes like in Facebook groups and things like that, where you're like, I'm feeling so uninspired. What do I do? So for me, some of the things that I love to do when I'm feeling uninspired or just feeling like I'm in a creative rut, I love to get outside. The first thing that I do is to get outside, enjoy nature. And sometimes when I slow down a little bit, I find that more ideas come to me. Like, it was crazy. The other day, I woke up at like 5 in the morning because my husband woke up super early for work, and then I couldn't get back to bed. And it's so funny because I decided, you know what, instead of like snoozing, instead of continuing to be in bed until Riley wakes up, I'm gonna get up. So I woke up at 5. I made myself a cup of coffee. I went outside. I had that coffee. it was like such a nice day. Like, I don't know how to explain it other than to say it was just a very slow, relaxing day. And then I went back inside, I took a shower, and while I was taking a shower, I had all of these ideas come to me. Like, they just came to me. I was like, my brain was like working overtime. Like, I just had ideas and ideas and ideas, to the point where I got out of the shower, I went, I grabbed my notebook, and I started writing them all down. And I was like in my towel, in my bathroom, just writing all these ideas down. And I really think that that happened because I gave my mind some time to think. I gave my mind some time to just not be bombarded by things that I'm always doing. The short version answer of that question is just to give yourself some space and to take it easy. So I don't know if you like that answer, but honestly, for me, that's what I do to get out of a creative rut. I also love to read. Right now I'm reading Girl Wash Your Face, and it is so good. But I get a lot of inspiration from books. If you're really feeling like you're in a creative rut, I highly, highly recommend Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. It's one of my all-time favorite books, especially if you're a content creator, if you are in a creative space. Like, that to me is one of the books that you absolutely have to read. So I'll leave links to both of those down below. Another thing that I think is helpful is to kind of spend some time like on Pinterest, kind of seeing what other people are writing about. I'm not saying that you should just be like copying other people or just writing blog posts because other people are writing them, but I think that we kind of get to a point when you're a content creator where you're kind of like stuck in your own like little bubble of things that you think you should be writing about, or things that somehow or another you feel like that's all you can talk about, or all you can write about, or all you can create videos about. And when you start to just kind of see what else is out there, you might realize that you have an interest in something else, or that you have experience in something else that you can share with the world. I know there's like a lot of talk about, you know, like staying in your own lane, putting on those blinders. And I think that there's a lot of truth to that. But I think that sometimes you can kind of like take those blinders off for a little bit, kind of open your eyes up to like everything else that's going on, and then kind of draw some inspiration from all of that, and then produce content in your own unique way. I think that there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. All right, so my husband called me and I have to go pick him up because something with his car broke down for work or something. So I'm gonna have to go pick him up, and then I'll come back and film the rest of this video. All right, sorry, 1,000 years later, I'm back. Finally went, picked up Joe, so we can continue with our video. So I think I answered the question about getting out of a creative rut, but point is, I think if I needed to like summarize it into something, is to just go do what you enjoy doing. Go spend some time living your life, and then draw inspiration from that. All right, so then somebody asked, what does your schedule look like as a blogger? I wish that I had a good answer for this, but my schedule looks so crazy different every single day. That's kind of one of the things that I like about doing this whole blogging thing, is that like, it's not like I go into an office and have to do exactly the same thing every single day. It's gonna depend on what projects I have going on and things like that. But for the most part, I'll try to give you like some kind of an idea of what my days look like. So whenever I wake up in the morning, Riley wakes up, then I take her to the kitchen, I give her breakfast. Once I'm done with her breakfast, I try to feed myself so I don't starve. But while I'm eating my breakfast, normally what I'll do, I'll open up my laptop, I'll start looking through emails, I'll start just trying to figure out what I have to accomplish that day. Right now I'm using my day designer again. So my day designer has like a top 3 tasks. So usually the night before I will write out like what my top 3 tasks are for that day. And so I'll start to just kind of like get into a rhythm and try to figure out what I have to accomplish. But normally it looks like answering emails, going through emails. What I try to do is I try to just like categorize my days in a way, so like I don't want to be filming a video every single day. And in the same token, like I don't want to be writing a blog post every single day. So I try to set aside days like, okay, Mondays I'm going to write 2 or 3 blog posts, and I'm gonna sit down and that is gonna be my writing day. Or same thing with filming, like maybe Tuesday is gonna be the day when I film 2 or 3 videos. I like to kind of batch my content, like batch the kinds of things that I'm doing so that I can not have to like stop and start and stop again doing different things. So I try to like categorize my days by things like that. I usually set aside at least 1 day a week to pitch or to apply for campaigns so that I can work with brands, or to just reach out to brands. That so far has been working really well with me. Like I'll say, okay, Thursdays is gonna be my pitching day, and all day I'm gonna be spending applying to campaigns, reaching out to brands. And that really helps me to make sure that I'm staying on track and making sure that I'm at least doing that once a week, because like if you guys saw my November income report, which was the first video in this series, I talked to you guys about how the majority of my money comes from working on these paid collaborations. So if I'm not applying for these collaborations, or if I'm not pitching to brands and landing these deals, then that month my income is not going to be as great as it could be. So that is an important element of my business, of what I do. So in the morning time, like right after Riley's breakfast and right before she goes down for her first nap, that usually gives me like about 2 hours where I can just kind of focus on my computer. She'll be playing on the floor and I'll here and there like interact with her. I'm not like ignoring her, but I'm still focusing on my work. So I kind of do a little bit of that. And then when she goes down for her first nap of the day at 11, that's when I really sit down and do the kinds of things that I can't do when she's awake. So when she's awake, I can kind of have my laptop open. I can kind of do a few things here and there. But when she is awake, like I can't sit down and like film a video like this one when she's awake. So I kind of figure out, okay, what is the one task that I need to do today while she's sleeping that it's gonna just be easier for me to do if she is not around. Sorry, I just realized that the light in my room was not turned on. So now it is on, now we can continue. So once she goes down for her nap, that's when I do like the kind of work that I need to really just focus on. And that usually gives me about an hour and a half, if I'm lucky, to just sit down and focus on my work, whether that's filming a video, editing a video, writing a blog post, shooting photos. There's a lot of different things that go into this blogging world, but on a normal everyday kind of basis, it usually consists of one of those things. Now that I'm doing YouTube also, that focused work normally consists of either filming a video, editing a video, or writing a blog post, shooting photos, editing photos, or just additional communication with brands. One of the things that I'm always doing is trying to find a way to promote my content. So whether that's sharing the content on social media, on Instagram, on Pinterest, creating graphics for my content, so creating Pinterest graphics, like there's a lot of stuff that I just do every day just to try to get more page views on my site, to get more traffic. And that's kind of how I spend my day. I really do try to make an effort to have like a stop time to my day. But I know for a fact, like I'm not the best at that. Like the thing with blogging and like having a schedule is that there's always so much more that you could be doing. There's always another blog post you could be writing, or more photos you could be taking, or like additional SEO tweaking and going through your site and optimizing it. Like there's always so much more that you could be doing. And so it's hard to kind of get to a point where you're like, all right, I'm done for the day. And so that is probably the biggest area where I have struggled. And like my husband is always on my case. He's always like, okay, it's 8 o'clock at night. Like, why are you working? And for me, it's because like, number one, I enjoy it. I really truly enjoy everything that I do in the online space, whether it's making these videos or working on my blog. Like I love it. It gives me like a sense of satisfaction, of fulfillment, and I enjoy it. It's not like, oh my God, like I have to film a video, like, oh, I'm so annoyed. Like I love it. Like it is just part of what I do now. But that does make it hard to get to a point where I'm just like, all right, I'm done. And I have to find a better balance between being a mom, being a wife, taking care of my home, and also having this business that brings in money that I enjoy. So that is what I'm going to be focusing on for 2019. But point is, the schedule looks very different every day. All right, so the next question says about how much are you able to make as a blogger? So if you haven't seen my November income report, definitely go check it out. I shared the exact dollar amount of how much money I made in November, but November was a particularly really great month for me. So I'm not gonna say that every single month has been what I have made in November, but generally what I have been averaging probably for like the last 2 years is at least $1,000 every month, give or take a couple $100s. Normally that's more like in the mid-thousand range, so like $1,500, $1,600, depending on how much I hustle, depending on how much effort I'm putting into the blog, working on these campaigns and reaching out to brands. And that's probably one of my favorite things about being in this online business world. Like what you put into this, the amount of effort and time that you put into cultivating your blog and your business, like the more time and effort and energy and commitment like you put into your blog and your business, the more you're gonna get out of it. So like if I spent weeks like just posting here and there and like not promoting my content and not reaching out to brands, and I just like threw up a blog post whenever I felt like it and just hoped that people came and read my stuff, like I would not be making money. Like I would just be a hobby blogger, which I've told you guys a million times. It is totally okay to just be a hobby blogger. Like if you just need a creative outlet and you just feel like you would enjoy connecting with other people and sharing your thoughts online, like you can do that as a blogger. Like you don't have to make money. There is no shame in that. And a lot of people do that, and it gives them that sense of fulfillment that they're looking for. But if you are looking to monetize your blog and you really want to make some money from it, it's a lot of work, and it means that you are hustling and you are always doing stuff and you are always working on your blog and you're always looking to make it better. So to answer the question, because I don't even know where I was going with that, I have been very honest about how much I have made. So again, you can go look at that income report on my blog. If you go to the section that says blogging at the top, like in the menu, there is a section that says income reports. I have shared my income reports from back in the day when I was even making just like $400 a month. I think my first income report was something like that. But I'm never gonna be able to tell you like, okay, you're gonna start a blog and in the first 30 days, you're gonna make $100, because I can't possibly like promise you that. Like the amount of effort that you put into it, and whether or not you're strategic about it, and whether or not you're implementing strategies that are going to optimize your blog and that are gonna position you in a way where people are going to either buy stuff from you or where you're gonna be able to work with brands, like that's all on you. And how quickly you do that is gonna depend on how quickly you start seeing a lot of money come your way. I will tell you, when I started my blog, I had no intention of making any money, and I probably didn't see actual money until about 3 years down the road. And a lot of it, I feel, was the fact that I did have to spend some time trial and error, making people come to my blog and like developing a foundation for my blog. But a lot of it also was on me, of the fact that like I didn't even think that blogging was a way for me to make money. I was totally in it as just something that I was doing on the side. And the minute that I flipped the switch, and the minute that I said, oh, wait a second, like I see other people making money, I want to do this also. Like if they can do it, I can definitely do it. The minute that I started to treat my blog like a business, and the minute that I started researching different opportunities and things like that, like within that year is when I started seeing $1,000 months. So that I can say wholeheartedly. The money is there, the opportunity is there, but it does involve a lot of time and commitment on your end. One of the things that I love to do, I have my online course. It's called Side Hobby to Side Hustle. And I teach like beginner bloggers, people who have an established blog and they're now at the point where they're in that moment. They're like, okay, I've been doing this as a hobby forever. Now I really just want to start being strategic about it and start treating it like a business. I teach that in my course. I share everything that I know about working with brands, tracking your stats. I share a whole bunch of templates that I use. So if that is something that you are interested in, if you are a blogger already, you already have your blog up and now you're ready to really start being strategic about it, start positioning your blog so that it's super attractive for brands to want to work with you and things like that, that's what that course is for. So I will leave information to it down below. Again, it's called Side Hobby to Side Hustle. And I think it's really worth checking out, looking into. And if you have any questions about it, just let me know. All right, so the next question says, what got you into blogging? So this is kind of like a funny story, but what got me into blogging, like I said, it wasn't any intention of making money. I was doing my master's, I was in school, and I was taking some HR classes. And in my HR classes, they were teaching you like all of these best practices and like how leaders should, you know, be acting and like all of this stuff about management that I thought was fascinating. But at the same time that I was doing my master's, I was also working full time, and I was working at this big corporation, and pretty much everybody there sucked. I had the worst boss ever. Like, she was a nightmare. And I was like, what the heck? Like, obviously this lady needs to take some of these courses that I'm taking, because she doesn't know anything about how to treat employees. All of the management here is like crap. And so I found myself in a place where I was like wanting to vent about a lot of the things that I was experiencing in my life, in the workforce. And so I said, you know what? Like, what if I just started writing about it and just sharing my experiences with other young 20-somethings who are just starting you know, to have jobs, and they're starting to be in the workforce. Like, I can't be the only person who's going through this. Like, I was working with people who were like 30 years older than me. I was like the youngest person in my office, and I was like very alone. I just felt very isolated. And so that's what I did. I started a blog. I literally Googled like how to start a blog, and I started writing. And oh my God, my blog posts from 2012 are so embarrassing. I read through some of them the other day. I was like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, I hope nobody finds this. But I started venting. I started sharing my experiences. And through that communication, like, I started getting messages from other people. And other people were like, oh my God, like, I'm going through the same thing at work. Like, thank you so much. Like, I'm so glad that I'm not the only person going through this. And those conversations meant so much to me. I was like, holy crap, like we've got something here. I have an audience of other people who need advice or people who want to share their stories. And so that's kind of what really got me into blogging. And if you guys know my story, you know that ultimately that's what led me to write my first book, Corporate Survival Guide for Your 20s. It's a published book, it's a real book. It's actually here. So this is my book, Corporate Survival Guide for Your 20s. You can get on Amazon, you can get on Target online, Barnes and Nobles, but this is my book. And this is really a collection of like the first thoughts that I ever shared on my blog. So I'm really proud of this book, and I definitely don't promote it as much as I should, but if it wasn't for my blog and the fact that I started sharing those thoughts back in 2012, I would never be able to say that I was a published author, that I have my own book. So that just like means the world to me. And I don't know, I think it's amazing that that could come out of just writing your thoughts on the internet. All right, so there's a few other questions, and I don't know, maybe this Q&A is just gonna be way too long, but we'll go with it and we'll see what happens. So the next question says, how do you draw attention to your blog? So there are two main ways that people are going to find your blog. Either A, through searching for stuff on Google. Search for, you know, DIY ponytail tutorial. I don't know, that's like the first thing that popped into my head. And then if you're doing things correctly on your end with search engine optimization and things like that, then your blog post is gonna show up and people are gonna be taken to your site. And then the second way is really gonna be through social media. So as far as like how do I draw attention to my blog, I really make an effort to make sure that I am optimizing my blog posts in a way that Google will show my post to a lot of people. And again, that's a whole separate video, search engine optimization, but you can look it up. You can look up SEO tactics, SEO tips and tricks and things like that. But I personally spend a lot of time and effort into sharing my blog posts on social media, primarily Instagram and Pinterest. I have the swipe up feature on Instagram, so I'm able to like link one of my blog posts on Instagram. I can say like, you know, hey, I've got a new blog post up, swipe up if you want to read it, and hopefully people will go and read it. But my biggest traffic source as far as like social media and my blog is Pinterest, which is why I spend a ton of time creating different Pinterest images and experimenting with a lot of things so that people can be driven to my site. And then the last question that I'm going to answer in today's Q&A, somebody asked, how do you know what topics in your niche will be well received? So first of all, if you don't know what a niche is really like what your blog is about, like what is the topic. So there are a bunch of different niches. You can say your blog is a motherhood blog, or it is a lifestyle blog, or it is a food blog, or it's a travel blog. Each one of those categories are called niches. So this person is asking like, how do you know what to write about? How do you know what people are actually going to want to read about? And all of this information really just applies to YouTube and blogging. I love the fact that I've like hopped onto the YouTube land, world, whatever, because a lot of what I learn about YouTube can also be applied to your blog and vice versa. So I feel like there's a lot of like collective knowledge that benefits both platforms. I think that if you're watching this and you're a YouTuber, it's just as valuable as if you're a blogger. So one of the main things that I like to do, and I've talked about this inside of my course with my students, and that's at least once a quarter, I like to spend some time inside of Pinterest. So if you're not familiar with Pinterest, I highly suggest that you get a little bit familiar with Pinterest. So one of the things that I like to do in Pinterest at least once every quarter is I'll go to Pinterest and I'll kind of see what is trending. And on top of the fact that I can just see what kind of topics are trending, I will also go to the search bar and like, let's say that I'm a food blogger. Let's say that that's what my blog is about. I'll go to the little search engine at the top of Pinterest and I'll search food, like the word food, or I'll search the word recipe. And what that search bar is gonna do is it's gonna show you a whole bunch of suggested topics. And all of those suggested topics are things that people have searched for, popular things that people are constantly searching for. So you can see based off of those results, like those are things that people want to read about, or those are things that people are interested in, which should help you craft your content calendar. Because like, yes, I think it's great to like just create random videos and like be super creative and, you know, have these video ideas that nobody else has done before. Like there's something cool about that. But at the same time, you don't always have to reinvent the wheel. Like you want to make sure that the content that you're putting out there, like people are actually interested in. So if you see that people are searching for stuff, that's the kind of content you want to create, especially when you're first starting your blog, you're trying to get established, you're trying to get more readership. Like that is like the quickest way to get readers, to get viewers, to get YouTube subscribers. Like that's like not rocket science. Honestly, I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I was first starting my blog. I just wanted to write about whatever the hell I wanted to write about. without doing any kind of research on the front end. And sure, like I'm still here 7 years later, but I think that my blog could have definitely grown a lot faster had I been a little bit more strategic about what I was doing and like how I was using that effort to create content. So again, those are things that I teach my students in my course, and it's really valuable advice that I wish I would have known a lot sooner. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of this Q&A because honestly, I'm exhausted right now. This video is gonna be forever long, but I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you found some value from it. Any questions you guys have about blogging or YouTube or content creation or being in the online world, leave them down below in the comments so that I can either add them onto like another Q&A or just answer them for you, maybe on Instagram or something like that. So make sure you're following me on Instagram. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much. I wish you guys so many good things for 2019. Like this is gonna be your year. So thank you guys so much for the support. Thanks for watching these videos. If you did enjoy it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.